Bertie Tebbetts will lead off for the American League as we go into the first half of the fifth inning. Tebbetts struck out in the second inning in his only appearance at the plate thus far. This is Bertie's first appearance in an all-star game. Bill Dickey, who was scheduled to catch for the American Leaguers, came up with a lame shoulder and was unable to participate. Tebbetts digs in, right-handed batter. Outfield pulled over toward left. Johnny Vandermeer, left-hander, doing the pitching now for the National League. Morton Cooper worked the first 3 innings. Vandermeer into the windup, first pitch to Tebbetts. Over the inside corner for call, strike one. Art Fletcher coaching at third. New York Yankee coach. Bucky Harris, manager of the Washington Senators, coaching at first base. Bob Johnson of the Philadelphia Athletics is going to bat for Spud Chandler. He's on deck. Vandermeer pitches. Tebbetts takes it inside. Ball one, almost had the inside corner, but not quite. Walker Cooper still doing the catching for the National League. National League wearing home uniforms. They're the home team today. 1-1 the count now on Bertie Tebbetts. 3-0 the score, favor the American League. It's the first half of the fifth inning. Johnny Vandermeer, the left-hander, ready, throws. Tebbetts swings and fouls it off. Over the National League dugout, up into the upper deck. Strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Walker Cooper rubbing up to cover the new ball he just got from umpire Lee Ballantyne, tosses it out to Johnny Vandermeer. If custom is followed, as in past all-star games, we will have a shift in the umpires at the end of this half inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bertie Tebbetts. Johnny Vandermeer doing the pitching, all set to work on Tebbetts. Into his windup, in comes the pitch. Tebbetts takes a high one for ball 2. 2-2 the count on Bertie. Al Benton is throwing in the bullpen for the American Leaguers and very likely will take to the mound as we come into the last half of the fifth inning. Time call for a moment. Tebbetts stepped out of the batter's box. Now he moves back into hitting position. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. In comes the pitch. Tebbetts takes it. It's high for ball 3. 3-2 the count. Bucky Harris coaching at first points to first base as Tebbetts looks down to him. In other words, meaning watch this one carefully. Get on base. Make it be in there, in other words. Vandermeer standing on the hill looking in to get the sign from Walker Cooper. Swoops down low into his windup. In comes the pitch. Tebbetts lifts a high pop-up curving foul back at first. Johnny Mize going over, and Walker Cooper Mize under it and makes the catch for the out. Tebbetts fouls out to Johnny Mize. And here's Bob Johnson of the Philadelphia Athletics coming up to bat for Spud Chandler. Johnson has an average on the season of .278. Here's the announcement. Johnson was on the All-Star squad for the American League in 1935 and 1938. Has been at bat 5 times and has failed to hit. Vandermeer into the windup, the first pitch to Johnson's. He starts to swing, checks it, but it's in there anyway for call, strike 1. Outfield plays him toward left and center and left, almost right away and right. Johnson holds that bat down at the end of the handle, cocks it high up over his right shoulder. Stands in fairly close to the plate, feet slightly spread. Vandermeer set to throw, does. Johnson swings and lines one out in the left field for a base hit. Joe Medwick goes over to field it. There's Johnson taking his turn. Medwick throws in to Jimmy Brown at second. The ball cut off by Eddie Miller. It's short. And on at first is Bob Johnson with a single to left. And that's his first hit in an all-star game, his 6th time at bat. And that for the American Leaguers is their 5th hit of the evening. 4 of them off Morton Cooper, the first one off Johnny Vandermeer. Claude Passot is throwing in the bullpen for the National Leaguers. Passot, a right-hander. Manager Lou Budrow of the Cleveland Indians steps in, a right-handed batter, hit a home run in the first inning, fly to Reeser and center in the third. He's had 1 hit and 2 times the bat so far tonight, stretched by Vandermeer. A look over at first, in comes the pitch. Budrow takes it, a little low, ball 1. 3-0 the score, favor the American League. It's the first half of the 5th inning. Outfield shaded toward left for Budrow, in center and left, straightaway and right. Eddie Miller in about 3 or 4 paces at short. Same for Jimmy Brown at second in double play position. Vandermeer takes the stretch. In it comes. Pitch is swung on and fouled off by Lou Budrow, who took a couple of steps forward in the batter's box, trying to drive the ball behind the runner into right field. 1-1 the count on Lou. Tommy Henrik is on deck. 1 out. Bob Johnson on first base. Vandermeer's just gone to the Rosenbag. Now steps back onto the hill, looks in to get the sign from Morton Cooper. Takes his stretch. Johnson leads off first. Mize on the bag with him. Here it is. Pitch is swung on, fouled off high to the right of the plate, up over the roof and out of the ballpark. 1 ball, 2 strikes, still to count on Lou Budrow. The youthful skipper of the Cleveland Indians, doing a grand job for his American League entry. 1-2 on Lou. Johnny Vandermeer's taking his time. Now he's all set to go. Johnny Mize on the bag at first with Bob Johnson, who takes a short lead. Vandermeer ready, takes a stretch. Looks over at first and throws. Budrow swings, sends one right back to the mound. Vandermeer takes it, throws to Eddie Miller, who falls down to the ground but holds onto the ball, keeps his foot on the bag in time for the out. Jimmy Brown was over too, and Bob Johnson sliding in upset Jimmy Brown, but Eddie Miller had his foot on the bag as he fell, taking the throw from Vandermeer for the forced play on Bob Johnson at second. No chance for a throw to first, attempting to double up Lou Budrow. So there are 2 outs. Budrow on first base, and the batter Tommy Henrik, who doubled in the first inning, scored a moment later ahead of Rudy York's home run to the right field stands. Henrik popped out to Jimmy Brown at second base in the 3rd inning. Hits left-handed, the stretch by Vandermeer. Budrow has the lead off first. In comes the pitch to Henrik. He swings, and he misses. Strike 1. He tried to check his swing, but couldn't. Went around. Ted Williams is on deck. He'll hit next if Tommy Henrik gets on. This is Henrik's first appearance in an all-star game. Budrow moving off first. Vandermeer takes a stretch, looks at the runner, throws to Henrik, and it's in there for called strike 2. A nice curve over the inside corner, belt high. And so Vandermeer stands ahead of the hitter. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. 3-0 the score, favor of the American League. It's the first half of the 5th inning of this 10th annual All-Star Classic. Vandermeer okays the sign. Budrow moves way off first. Johnny throws in to Henrik, who swings and lifts a foul up over our mutual booth, up into the upper deck, to the left of home plate. Count remains, no balls, 2 strikes. Henrik chokes the bat just about an inch, stands deep in the batter's box, fairly close to the plate. Drives a long ball, good pull hitter. Here it is. Henrik takes it, it's high for ball 1. Tommy can also punch him to left field pretty well, since the outfield plays him straight away. Johnny Mize on it first with Budrow. 2 men out. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tommy Henrik, the batter. Vandermeer ready to work now. Takes his stretch. Budrow moving off first. Here it is. Henrik swings and he misses. The ball is dropped by Cooper, but he picks it up, tags out Tommy Henrik. Strikeout number 3 for Johnny Vandermeer. And that's all for the American League in the first half of the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the National Leaguers. 1 man left on. And the score at the end of 4 1/2 innings, 3-0 in favor of the American League. That sudden onslaught by the American Leaguers in the first inning, which saw Lou Budrow lead off with a home run, Tommy Henrik double, and Rudy York to follow with a home run, has given the American Leaguers their 3-0 lead. And so as we come into the last half of the 5th inning, we're going to have a new pitcher for the American Leaguers. Bud Chandler worked the first 4 innings, allowed only 2 hits in blanking the National League. And it's going to be Big Al Benton of the Detroit Tigers. Benton has been in 17 games so far this season for Del Baker. He's won 6 and lost 5. Has pitched 129 2/3 innings. Has allowed 111 hits, walked 40, struck out 58. And we're going to have a change in umpires, as we indicated to you a moment ago. That seems to be the tradition in all-star games. We'll watch and see just what the lineup is going to be in the way of umpires as we get ready for more action here in the last half of the 5th. The announcement over the public address system was concerning the coming into the game of Al Benton. Bill McGowan is going to work back at the plate now, and Lee Ballanfant is going to move down to third base. Al Barlick has moved over to first base, and Ernie Stewart of the American League will umpire at second base. So there's the new alignment of umpires. Lee Ballantyne of the National League, who started back at the plate and worked the first 4.5 innings, has gone down to third. Bill McGowan of the American League, who was at third, has come in back at the plate. Al Barlick, who started umpiring at second base of the National League, has moved over to first, and Ernie Stewart of the American League, who is umpiring at first, has moved over to second. Joe Medwick leads off for the National League as we come into the last half of the fifth inning. He'll be followed by Walker Cooper and then Eddie Miller. Medwick bats right-handed. Grounded out York to Chandler, who covered in the second innings. Benton into the windup, throws. First pitch is high for ball one. 3-0 favor the American League. It's the last half of the fifth inning. Bill McKechnie of Cincinnati still coaching at third. Frankie Frisch of Pittsburgh at first. Benton throws. Medwick takes it. Strike one call. A fastball. Let her high. 1-1 the count on Joe. Playing great ball for the Brooklyn Dodgers this year. Benton looks in to get the sign from Bertie Tebbetts. Detroit battery right now. Benton ready, throws. Medwick swings and fouls it off. Back to the plate high, up over the roof, and out of the ballpark. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Joe Medwick. Al Benton has a new ball. Ready to work with it. Tebbetts into the crouch to give Al the sign. Great big fellow. Into his windup, throws. Medwick ducks under a high pitch for ball 2. Ducky ducked under that one. 2-2 the count on Medwick. Joe stands in close to the plate. Benton ready, throws overhand. There's a pitch swung on, and Keltner comes up with a great one-handed stop with throw to York in time for the out. Medwick drove one which appeared headed between Keltner and Budrow, but Keltner went to his left, came up with a one-handed, glove-handed pickup of his vicious bounder, and then threw over to York in time to retire Medwick and rob him of a base hit. Here's Walker Cooper stepping in. Cardinal catcher single to right in the third inning for the first National League hit of the night. They've only had 2. Bats right-handed. Al Benton ready for the first pitch. Here it is. High inside. Ball 1. 3-0 the score. Favor the American League. It's the last half of the fifth inning. Eddie Miller is on deck. Walker Cooper ready. Here it is. He doesn't mean to swing on that one, but does. The ball rolls down the third baseline. Tebbetts picks it up, throws over to first. In time for the out on a very nice play. Walker Cooper meant to check his swing. Couldn't. The ball hit the bat and rolled down the third baseline. Tebbetts raced out, grabbed it, wheeled around, threw over to York in time to retire Cooper for the second out. And so there have been 2 swell defensive plays on the part of the American League here in the last half of the fifth inning to retire the first 2 men. Up now is Eddie Miller of the Boston Braves, who struck out in the third inning, up for his second time, bats right-handed. Al Benton rocks in the box, throws. Miller swings, hits this one, past the mound out to short. Budrow up with it. There's a throw to York in time for the out. And so that's all for the National League in the last half of the fifth inning. Out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And at the end of 5 innings of play, the score remains 3-0 in favor of the American League. Going into the first half of the sixth inning, we'll have Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, and Rudy York coming up in that order for the American League. Bill McKechnie, manager of the Cincinnati Reds, stops at the plate to talk to Bill McGowan for a moment. Ted Williams, who has a couple of bats, swinging them from shoulder to shoulder, kids around with Bill McKechnie as he moves over now to the National League bench. Art Fletcher, who's coaching at third for the American League, goes down to talk to Lee Ballantyne back at third base, while Johnny Vandermeer tosses a few in from the mound. For those of you who might have tuned in late and are wondering how the American League achieved their 3-0 advantage, we'll repeat that Lou Budrow, in the first inning, leadoff man for the American League, drove one up into the left field stands for a home run. Morton Cooper was pitching at the time. Tommy Henrik followed with a double to right, and then after Cooper had retired, Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio, Rudy York drove one into the right field stands for a home run, scoring Henrik ahead of him. That's been all of the offensive fireworks so far in this game. Since that time, it's been quite a pitching duel. Morton Cooper worked the first 3 innings, allowed 4 hits, issued no passes, struck out 1, gave up 3 runs. Johnny Vandermeer came into the 4th inning and has been pitching ever since. Struck out 3 men and has allowed only 1 hit. Ted Williams steps in. He flied to Medwick in left field in the first inning, single to right in the third. He's had 1 hit and 2 times at bat tonight. Vandermeer goes into the windup. Here's the first pitch to Williams. Ted takes it. It's in there for a called strike. Started to swing, checked his, though, and fell away from the plate. 1-1 the count on Ted. Outfield pulled a little bit toward right for him. Vandermeer looks in to get the sign from Walker Cooper. Swoops down low as he starts into his windup, whips the left arm around. Williams takes a change of pace pitch high for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Joe DiMaggio on deck, down on one knee, to the left of the plate, watching the action. Vandermeer's working very slowly, no hurry. Now he's set for the 1-1 pitch into Williams. Williams ready. Here it is. Williams swings and misses. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Ted. Fans get a big kick out of seeing fellows like Williams, DiMaggio, and other sluggers swing and miss. Vandermeer stands a bit ahead of Williams. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's ready to work. Here it comes. Low outside for ball 2. 2-2 the count on Williams. Don't forget the second All-Star game to be played at Cleveland tomorrow night, broadcast of which will come to you exclusively over the Mutual Network. 2-2 the count now on Ted Williams. Vandermeer taking his time, mops his brow. Looks in to get the sign from Cooper. Williams stands in that plate, swinging the bat around. Vandermeer ready to work. Here it is. Williams moves away from a high inside pitch for ball 3. So we have a full count on Ted, 3-2. And Vandermeer has gotten into this situation a number of hitters since he's been in the ball game, 3-2 situations. He hasn't suffered too much from it as yet, though. All set for the payoff pitch to Williams. Ted digs in. Vandermeer throws. Williams swings and drives a fly ball out into center field. Pete Reeser going back deep over toward right center. Under it waiting, and he makes the catch for the out. 1 away for the American League. First half of the 6th inning, 3-0 the score in favor of the American League. And here is Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, who grounded out to Archie Vaughan at third in the first inning and fouled out to Walker Cooper back to the plate in the third. Joe has had 4 hits and 27 times at bat in all-star competition, including 1 double and 1 home run. Vandermeer's first pitch to Joe. He swings and he misses. Strike 1. He swung hard. This is the 7th all-star game for DiMaggio. 1 out, nobody on. DiMaggio the hitter, Rudy York on deck. Vandermeer ready. Here's the pitch. DiMaggio takes it inside, ball 1, fast pitch. Almost got the inside corner, but not quite. One and 1 the count on Joe. Stands that plate with the bat cocked up over his right shoulder, wide open stance, feet spread very wide. Outfield pulled way over toward left and deep. Vandermeer throws. DiMaggio swings and drives this one on the ground off the glove of Johnny Mize. Out into right field, the ball deflects. Mallott comes in to field it. DiMaggio holds on to first and is credited with a base hit. His 5th in all-star competition. It was a vicious bounder to the right of Johnny Mize. He got his glove on it, but couldn't hold on to it. Bounced off his glove into short right for a single. That's the 6th hit for the American Leaguers. 4 of them off Morton Cooper, who worked the first 3 innings. The 2nd off Johnny Vandermeer, who came in the 4th and is now working his 3rd inning. Up at the plate steps Rudy York, who hit a home run in the 1st inning with Tommy Henrik aboard, and then struck out in the 4th inning, first time Vandermeer pitched against him. York struck his home run off Morton Cooper. Vandermeer's taking his time, out back of the hill, looking around at the outfield, hitching up his trousers. York digs in, stands deep in the batter's box, in close to the plate. Outfield shaded toward left. Joe DiMaggio takes the lead off first. Johnny Mize on the bag. Vandermeer into the stretch. 1 out. Look at the runner. Here's the pitch to York. He takes it, and it's in there for a called strike. Went into a bunting motion that brought Archie Vaughan racing in from third. Eddie Miller at short walks over near second, hollers something over to Jimmy Brown to get their signals straight. Double play combination. DiMaggio moves off first again. Vandermeer into the stretch. York digs in at the plate. Vandermeer throws. York swings and sends a ground ball down to Vaughan. Vaughan over to Jimmy Brown, who drops the ball. And all hands are safe. Rudy York grounded to Archie Vaughan, who threw over to Jimmy Brown. And Jimmy Brown dropped the ball. And it's an error charge to the Cardinal second baseman, enabling Joe DiMaggio to go safe at second. And York is safe at first, of course, on the fielder's choice, which resulted in an error. So the American Leaguers are threatening once again. Runners on first and second, 1 out, 3-0 the score. It's the first half of the 6th inning, and the batter is Joe Gordon, who struck out in the 1st inning took a third call, striking the fourth. In other words, he struck out twice in 2 appearances. DiMaggio leads off second. Rudy York moves off first. Vandermeer takes the stretch, looks back at second, then throws. Gordon swings and misses. Strike one. He swung hard. Outfield over toward left for Gordon and deep. It's Medwick in left, Reeser in center, Ott in right. The only changes we've had in the starting lineups have been in the department of pitching. In the infield, it's Vaughn at third, Miller at short, Brown on second, Mize on first. Vandermeer throws high. Ball 1 to Gordon. 1-1 the count. Kenny Keltner's on deck, 1 out. 3-0 favor the American League. It's the first half of the 6th inning. Joe DiMaggio on second base. Rudy York on first base. Johnny Mize playing it deep first. Not on the bag at all with York, who has a big lead off first. Slipping into second base was Eddie Miller, trying to draw a throw from Vandermeer. But Vandermeer did not throw down. Joe DiMaggio dug back into the bag. Miller goes back to a normal short position. Vandermeer takes a stretch, look back at second. Here's the pitch to Gordon. Joe takes it. It's high for ball 2. 2-1 the count on Gordon. The Flash steps out of the batter's box, gets a handful of dirt. Looks around at Art Fletcher coaching at third. And moves back in hitting position. Bucky Harris coaching at first. Is watching first base for Rudy York, who moves way off the bag. Johnny Mize is playing it deep first. Vandermeer ready. Here's the pitch to Gordon. Joe swings and misses. Strike 2. 2-2 the count on Gordon. Struck out twice already in his 2 previous appearances. And there's no activity in either bullpen right now. Since the first inning, this game has settled down into a real pitching duel. This has been the first real offensive threat since the first inning, in which the American Leaguers got all 3 runs. Vandermeer ready. 2-2 pitch to Gordon. Joe swings and misses. The ball is dropped by Cooper. But, of course, Gordon doesn't run at all. And that's the 3rd time in a row that Gordon has struck out. And that's the 4th strikeout for Johnny Vandermeer. 2 outs. And here is Kenny Keltner stepping in. He grounded out to Eddie Miller in the 2nd inning and popped out to Miller at short in the 4th inning. So Joe Gordon, who's been burning up the American League all season, strikes out all 3 times he's been at the plate so far tonight. Vandermeer bearing down, trying to get out of the situation. DiMaggio on second, York on first. Runners lead off, 2 down, first half of the 6th inning. Keltner the batter, right-handed hitter. First pitch to him. He swings and misses. Strike 1. On deck is Bertie Tebbetts. He'll hit next if Keltner gets on. Cleveland third baseman stands up at that plate, deep in the batter's box, in close to the plate. Knee slightly bent, holds that bat down on the end of the handle and straight up and down in front of his body. Vandermeer throws. Keltner takes it high for ball 1. 1-1 the count. 3-0 the score. Favor the American League. First half, the 6th inning. DiMaggio goes back to second. York to first. Now runners lead off their respective bases. DiMaggio comes way off second. York way off first. Vandermeer into the stretch. Keltner set at the plate. Here it is. Keltner swings and lifts a high pop-up out toward the mound. Running in is Archie Vaughn near the mound, waving everybody away, and he makes the catch for the out. And Johnny Vandermeer pitched himself out of that one. And so for the American League in the first half of the 6th inning. No runs. 1 hit. Listen to the hand for Vandermeer. For the American League in the first half of the 6th inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the National League. 2 men left on base. And that error, charged to Jimmy Brown, is the first error of the game. And now while we're waiting for the National League to come to bat in the last half of the 6th inning, let's pause for station identification. This
WGN, the voice of the people, Chicago.
This is Mel Allen speaking to you once again from the Polo Grounds as we come into the last half of the 6th inning. Danny Litweiler is going to come in to pinch hit. He bats right-handed. Al Benton doing the pitching for the Detroit Tigers. Working for the American League right now. Throws. Litweiler swings and lines one out into right field. Gordon goes over, can't get it. Makes a valiant try, but the ball drops into right field safely for a base hit. Danny Litweiler, batting for Vandermeer, lines a single to right field in his first appearance at the plate, and his first appearance as a member of the National League All-Star team. That's only the third hit of the evening for the National League. First two hits having come off Spud Chandler, who worked the first 4 innings. Up now is Jimmy Brown, switch hitter, batting left-handed against the right-handed pitching of Al Benton. He was hit by a pitched ball in the first inning, grounded out to Gordon in the third. Benton takes the stretch, throws. Brown swings and lines this one foul. Back of third for strike one. Joe Gordon came very close to coming up with one of those typical Gordon plays. Raced far to his left and leaped up in the air trying to get it while his line drive, but couldn't do it. Dropped safely into right field for a hit. It's 3-0 favor of the American League. Last half of the sixth. The National League fans are starting that rhythmic chant calling for a rally. Benton takes the stretch. Here's the pitch to Jimmy Brown. He swings and lines another one foul. Back of third base for strike two. Bill McKechnie stepping things up, coaching at third base, manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and Frankie Frisch, manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, is coaching at first. Both boys aiding and abetting Leo DeRocher, skipper of the Brooklyn Dodgers, who this year is piloting the National League entry into this 10th All-Star game. Benton ready, throws, Brown swings and sends one over the mound, out over second, picked up by Budrow, steps on second, throws to York for a double play. Beautiful twin killing. Jimmy Brown hit this one over Benton's head, out over second base. Lou Budrow scampered over at the bag, picked the ball up, same time stepping on second, flipped over to Rudy York at first to complete the double play. That's the second double play the American Leaguers have come up with. Here is Archie Vaughan stepping in. 2 outs now, nobody on base. It's the last half of the sixth inning. American League leading 3-0. Archie Vaughan hit into the first double play in the first inning after Jimmy Brown was hit by a pitched ball. Vaughan hit to Gordon, who threw to Budrow, who delivered over to York for the double play. Vaughan digs in, bats left-handed. Benton into the windup. Here's the pitch. Vaughan takes it outside for ball one. Benton looks in to get the sign from Tebbetts, working rapidly. Pitches. Vaughan takes a fast one low for ball two. Outfield pulled over toward right, slightly toward right and center right, almost straight away and left. Claude Passo throwing in the bullpen for the National Leaguers. Benton ready, pitches. Vaughan looks at one over the outside corner for a called strike. Plenty of activity in the American League bullpen. 2 pitchers warming up, one of whom is a left-hander, Cottonhead Smith of the Chicago White Sox. 2 balls, 1 strike on Archie Vaughan, 2 men out. Here it is. Vaughan takes it low inside for ball 3. It's the last half of the sixth inning. The American League out in front by a score of 3-0. All the damage having come in the first inning. Benton ready for the 3-1 pitch to Vaughan. Vaughan takes it, and it's in there for called strike 2. Vaughan started down toward first base, turns around to argue with umpire Bill McGowan. Bill McKechnie raises a howl at third, but there's no argument. Frankie Frisch stands at first with his hands on his hips, looking in with a bit of a scowl to the plate. 3-2 the count now on Vaughan. Benton ready. Here's the payoff pitch. Vaughan takes it, and it's inside for ball 4. And Vaughan walks. And here's Pete Reiser stepping up. That's the first pass issued by Benton and the first National Leaguer to have received a base on balls tonight. And as a matter of fact, that's the first walk in the ball game. Pete Reiser steps in. He grounded out to Gordon in the first inning. Had himself an infield hit in the fourth. Bats left-handed. Hitting on the season at .361. Benton takes the stretch. Here it is. Reiser moves away from a low inside pitch. Ball 1 is into the dirt. Got away from Tebbetts a couple of feet, but not far enough to permit Archie Vaughan risking the chance of going down to second base. 2 men out now. Reiser the batter. Johnny Mize on deck. Archie Vaughan on at first base. Benton takes his stretch. Here it is. Reiser swings in, foul tips it for strike 1. He really took a terrific cut at that pitch. 1-1 the count on Petey. Keltner at third is playing way over toward short. Gordon the deep second on the edge of the outfield grass. Stretched by Benton. Here it is. Reiser swings and drives one out into center field. There goes Joe DiMaggio way back, getting under it and making the catch for the out. A drive good for some 400 feet. And so that's all for the National League in the last half of the sixth inning. No runs, 1 hit, no American League errors, 1 man left on base. And so that brings us to the end of the 6th inning mark, where the American League leading 3-0, getting their 3 runs in the first inning on a home run by Lou Budrow, a double by Henrik, and a home run by Rudy York. totals at the end of 6 innings for the American League: 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 4 men left on. For the National League, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and 3 men left on base. Morton Cooper was the starting pitcher for the National League, worked the first 3 innings, allowed 4 hits, issued no passes, struck out 1, allowed 3 runs. Johnny Vandermeer relieved him, worked the next 3 innings, during which time he allowed 2 hits, issued no passes, struck out 4, and did not allow any runs. Spud Chandler was the starting pitcher for the American League, worked the first 4 innings, allowed 2 hits, issued no passes, struck out 2, and allowed no runs. Al Benton has been in there since he relieved Chandler in the 5th inning, and he's still in the ball game as yet, so we won't give you his record until he will depart from the ball game. So at the end of 6 innings, it's 3-0 favor of the American League, and now taking over as we go into the 7th inning, and to describe the remainder of the ball game for you is Bob Elson, who covers the games of the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox for the Mutual Station in Chicago. Here he is, Bob Elson.
Thank you very much, Mel Allen. Good evening, friends. We have quite a ball game on our hands here in this number 10 game in the All-Star Series, which this year, as you know, is being played here in the Polo Grounds in New York. And as we go into the first half of the 7th inning, the National League is sending in a brand new team. At third base, Elliott of Pittsburgh. At short, Reese of Brooklyn. At second, Herman of Brooklyn. At first, McCormick of the Reds. The catcher, Lombardi. The pitcher, Passaw. The outfield. Here come the announcements now on the changes. Fans, we're going to interrupt the public address system. I know it's kind of hard to listen to 2 people at once, but they're going to start this 7th inning, so I want to give it to you. Eno Slaughter is in the ball game of St. Louis in left field. Terry Moore in center field. Ott is staying in right field. The entire National League ball club has changed, and the first man to bat for the American League, there's a hand for Reese as he's announced, is going to be Bertie Tebbetts. He's been up twice. He struck out and he popped up, and here's Claude Passaw of the Cubs getting ready with the first pitch, and it's an attempted bunt, and he misses the ball for a strike. Passaw has had a very fine record this year. He's taken part in 16 ball games. He's won 12. He's lost 5. He's pitched 154 innings, and he's taken part in 14 complete games out of 16 efforts. He's had 45 strikeouts, by the way. Here's the next pitch to Bertie Tebbetts. There's a swing and a miss, a curveball in around his knees, and it's 2 strikes. There's nobody on and nobody out here in the 7th. The American League leads 3-0, but the National League is still within striking distance, and the National League partisans here in the Polo Grounds in New York are still hoping that the National League will unload some of that power and really get back in this ball game. The American League is not out of reach. It's just 3-0. 2 strikes on Tebbetts. Here comes the next pitch. It's a strike, and he tried to back away from a pitch that was inside. It's a called strike. It looked at first as though it might have hit his bat, but the umpire says no, and Tebbetts is out on strikes. So it is a strikeout for Passaw, and that is 7 strikeouts in all tonight. There were 2 strikeouts for Cooper, 4 for Vandermeer, and 1 for Passaw. Vandermeer was really hot out there tonight. Now the next man to come up is Big Al Benton of Detroit. Big right-hander, a massive fellow with the number 19 on the back of his gray uniform. Claude Passaw of the Cubs out there in the center of the diamond. Here's the first pitch. He swings and hits a hopper down the third baseline. Elliott coming fast. There goes the peg. He's out. Elliott to McCormick, and there's 2 gone. Elliott, a reformed outfielder, by the way, has played great ball for Frankie Frisch's Pittsburgh Pirates. As Frankie said, the kid looks like he's been in there for years. Elliott's played bang-up ball at third base for Pittsburgh. Now that's 2 gone. We're back to the top of the batting order for the American League, and here's Lou Boudreau. He's been up 3 times. He hit a home run. He flied out, and he forced a runner the 3rd time. So he's up for his 4th time, and there's a high fly ball to left field. Country Slaughter getting under this ball, going to his right. He should get it. It's very high, and he caught it to retire the side. And so, before the right-hand shoots of Claude Passaw, the American League goes down 1-2-3 in the first half of the 7th inning. Now there's a big roar from the crowd. The National League partisans are standing in the last half of the seventh. The National League, as you know, is the home team here tonight. The American League has the lead in this series of 6-3, and it's been a wonderful ball game tonight. And now we're going to see if there are any changes for the American League. Yes, there are going to be some changes. Let's see. No, the American League is going to stay pat. The American League is standing pat with Williams in left field, DiMaggio in center field, Henrik in right field, Keltner at third, Lou Boudreau at short, at second base Joe Gordon, and at first base Rudy York. The catcher is Bertie Tebbetts, and the pitcher is Al Benton. Going into the last half of the seventh, fans, the score here in New York in the 10th annual All-Star Game, the American League 3 and the National League nothing. 2 home runs in the first inning by the American League did the trick. Now here's Frank McCormick coming up for the first time. Johnny Mize, who he succeeded at first base, batted twice tonight. The first time he bounced out to the first baseman, and the second time he flied out to right field. And here is Frank McCormick coming up to the plate. He is a right-handed hitter. Frank McCormick batting .249 for the season. He's hit 10 home runs, and he's batted in 50 runs. Al Benton gets all set. Here it is. It's a strike. It's right across his knees. A very sharp curve. And this Benton has really got a curve, too. He's got one he can throw around the corner of a building. Gets all set again. Watch it now. Nobody on and nobody out. Here it is. It's a ball. It's too low that time. McCormick stepped up on the ball and let it go by, and it's low for a ball. National League trying to get a rally underway. They're still trailing by 3 runs here in New York. But as you know, a ball game is never over until the last man is out. There's a bouncing ball to short. Boudreau coming into the ball. There goes the peg. He's out. Boudreau to York, and there's one gone. Boudreau moved in about 5 steps to come up with McCormick's hopper and to throw him out. Now the American Leaguers pepper that ball around the infield. There's one gone. Here's Little Mel out. The grand little manager of the New York Giants, and perhaps one of the best-liked ball players of all time. Not only by the fans, those of you listening in who make up the baseball audience, but by the players, too. Mel is liked by everybody. Here he is up in there, a left-handed hitter. One gone and nobody out. There is a strike, a slow curve over the inside corner at the waist. The first time up, Ott struck out, and the second time he bounced out to Gordon. National League batting in the last half of the seventh. They're trailing by 3 runs. Here it comes, a slow ball. It's just a bit outside, a ball. That pitch was around his waist, and it just missed the corner by an inch. Bill McKechnie coaching down here at third for the National League. Frankie Frisch, the old Fordham Flash, over there at first. Nobody on and one gone in the last half of the seventh. Here it is. There's a swing and a miss, and that was a typical Ott swing. Right foot up in the air. You wonder where he gets that power. That time he swung around hard and missed it. And so it is 2 strikes. Ball 1 and strike 2 on Little Mel. Benton has this sign from Bertie Tebbetts. He's winding up. Here it comes. It's a ball. He just missed the corner that time with a pretty pitch, and the kind of a pitch that a batter with 2 strikes on him might want to go after. But Mel, who's got a keen eye up there, didn't go for it. It's ball 2 and strike 2 for Ott. Here comes the pitch. It's a swing and a foul on the ground. Down here to our left. The American Leaguers talk it up out there in the infield, and the American League outfield is playing straight away. This fellow Ott is a kind of a batter. You have to play every place for him. You can't swing your outfield or swing your infield or swing anything. And they're playing him absolutely on the diamond, straight away. The outfield and infield. Pitcher getting set again. Here comes the next one to Ott. He struck him out. He went for a fastball right across his knees, and he struck him out. Boy, that was a beauty that time. Very fast and right in around his knees, and he went down swinging. Well, that's 3 times that the National Leaguers have gone down via the strikeout route tonight. Here's the left-hand hitter up. It's Slaughter. Country Slaughter, the left fielder, playing in left field, the regular right fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals. Slaughter's average is .284. He's hit 4 home runs, and he's had 22 runs batted in. The first pitch was a ball, knee-high. Here comes the next pitch to Slaughter. He swings, hits a high hopper. It's going to drop behind the pitcher. Gordon making a play. He's safe. He beat it out for a hit. Fans, that was that kind of a high-hopping ball. It hit in front of the pitcher's box, went high into the air, bounced behind him. The pitcher couldn't make the play. Gordon came in, grabbed that ball, and fired it with the same motion, but Slaughter had it beaten out for a hit. So the National League has another hit, and that is a total of 4 hits for the night. And it brings up big Ernie Lombardi, one of the grandest characters in baseball. Ernie Lombardi. Here's Big Ernie, did some great work for Cincinnati for years. He's a hard worker. He's done some fine work this year for the Boston Braves. Great big lumbering sort of a fellow. He led the National League a few years ago. And you know the amazing thing about Lombardi is that a fellow with his weight, and he's so slow a foot, that he could lead the league. It's all the more credit to his batting eye because Lombardi doesn't get any of those rollers or any of those kind of balls that the infielders knock down and he beats them out for hits. He can't do it. He's too slow. Every time he hits that ball for a hit, he's got to hit it on the beam. First pitch was wide. The outfield is playing him just a little bit over to the left. Here's the next pitch. Lom swings and misses. A sharp curve in across his knees, and it's 1-1. Ernie Lombardi batting for the National League. There's a man on first, and there's 2 gone. The ball game is in the last half of the 7th. National League trailing by 3 runs. Benton getting set. Here's the next pitch. There's a wallop, but it's foul. Ernie Lombardi hit one up against the top of the roof down the left field line, but to the left side of the foul line, and it was a foul ball. Ernie gave it a ride, but foul, and now the catcher, Bertie Tebbetts, is going out to talk to Benton, and they're standing halfway between the plate and the pitcher's box, just having a chat while Lombardi in his white uniform stands up there at the plate. National League trails by 3. It's the American League 3 and the National nothing in the last half of the 7th at New York. Big Al Benton, second pitcher for the American League tonight, is on the mound. Gets all ready again. Here's the next one, and it's a ball. It broke outside knee high, and it's 2-2. Ernie started to go for that pitch. It looked like it was going to be pretty good at first, but he let it go by. 2 pitchers are in the bullpen, Hewson and Smith for the American League. Ball 2, strike 2 for Lombardi. Here it comes. It's a ball very far outside. There is no doubt about it. And it's ball 3 and strike 2. So Ernie is on the verge of a walk. Next man to come up will be the Dodgers shortstop, Pee Wee Reese. Lam is going to get a 3-2 pitch to swing at. Here it comes. There's ball 4. It's low, and it puts 2 men on. Here's Reese coming up for the National League. Fans, that's the second walk of the night. That's the second walk. It puts a man on first and a man on second and brings up Reese with 2 gone. Reese of Brooklyn, who has just gone in at shortstop, is batting, and his average for the year is 230. He's hit 1 homer, and he has 20 runs batted in. Reese up with 2 men on and 2 out in the last half of the 7th, and the National League partisans are making some noise here in the Polo Grounds. Here's the pitch, and Reese takes, and it's a strike. It's right across his knee. By the way, Mel was just telling me that Reese hits well here in the Polo Grounds. Mel, of course, sees all these games in New York. Well, the National League could really use a hit in this spot. They have 2 men on and 2 out. Here comes the next pitch, and it's very wide. They wasted a pitch that time, and Bertie Tebbetts cocked his arm as though he was going to throw that ball to first, but he held it. And so it's 1-1 on Reese. 2 men on and 2 out in the last half of the 7th as the National League fights hard here in New York to come from behind. Al Benton getting his sign out there again. Here's the next one. There is a ball. It missed the corner knee high, and it's ball 2 and strike 1 for Reese. Remember that tomorrow night Mutual will bring you the big game from Cleveland from the big municipal stadium at 8:45. Here comes the next pitch. Reese swings, and there's a line drive, and Bedreau caught that ball going to his left. Bedreau caught that ball going to his left to retire the side. A very hard hit ball, fans. Bedreau, the shortstop, went to his left, and just near second base, he reached out and caught that ball above his knees. It was a well-hit ball, and Bedreau made a nice play on it to retire the side. And so that National League threat is over, and it is no runs and 1 hit, and the ball game is going into the first half of the 8th. By the way, the attendance tonight is in the neighborhood of 35,000. Secretary Brannick of the Giants sent up the figures, which are in the neighborhood of $100,000. The Treasury Department will announce the exact figures in a day or so. All the money from this ball game and all the money from the game tomorrow night, the first $100,000 will be used for the Ball and Bat Fund, which is to provide baseballs and bats and gloves for all the camps in the United States. After that, all the rest of the money will go to the Navy and the Army Relief Fund. Fans, we're at the end of 7 innings here in New York City in the All-Star Game. The American League 3, the National League nothing. And now we're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This is WGN, the voice of the people, Chicago.